Hey friends, welcome back to Big Nate's Whiskey Lounge. I am Nate, coming at you with a video that's honestly probably not going to get a ton of views. That's okay. I love scotch. I know a lot of you guys that are friends with me and follow me are more bourbon people. That's okay. I love bourbon just as much. I drink mostly bourbon or rye. But I do have a special place in my heart for scotch. Scotch actually is my favorite whiskey genre. And even more specifically to that, I love Islay Scotch. I love the peaty brininess that you get from Islay Scotch, the big, bold flavors that provides. And so today we have a very special bottle, one that I've been hunting for a while, one that I'm already more than halfway down, and I've only had it for about 3 weeks. We were about halfway down the first day I got it. So this is Lagavulin 12. This is the special release from 2021. It is cask strength at 56.5 ABV. And Scotch doesn't have to do proof on their bottles, so oftentimes they only put the ABV on there. It says natural cask strength from exclusive refill casks. So this makes... Now, I am an Ardbeg guy. I will always say that Ardbeg is my favorite distillery because it's my favorite Scotch. Ardbeg Uigeadail is my favorite whiskey of all time currently. However, I have more bottles of Lagavulin than any other. But this came with a really, really cool card box. Diageo, who owns Lagavulin, did this with a bunch of their... So you can see the bottle here has that really cool lion design on it. But the box here has the lion on here with flames coming off of it. And it claims our fiercest and smokiest Scotch, the King of Islay, is what it says on there. So, King of the Jungle being the lion, King of Islay is the lion. All right, so I don't keep most of my card boxes. I have the Octomore box I'm keeping to keep my corks in, but I gotta keep that Lagavulin box. That's just beautiful. All right, so I have to give a shout out to my friend Connor, who I've mentioned in a ton of my videos. He is a real person. He was able to get this bottle for me. So Connor is a college student. Now he's an older college student. He was in the military when he was medically discharged from the military, and so he's currently going to school to become a physician's assistant at a school local to me. But his hometown is about 2.5 hours from me. And so we hunt for each other all the time. We constantly are texting each other about, hey, I'm looking for this, be on the lookout for that. And he texted me about a month ago and went, hey, my local store just got 4 bottles of this. So he bought one, I bought one, and then he happened to come into town for one day to do something real quick. He'll be back in town in a couple of weeks when school starts again. In our area, it starts right after Labor Day. A lot of you guys start in mid-August. Ours is after Labor Day. It is what it is. But he'll be back, and so we'll be able to hang out whenever we want. But he texted me. He's like, I found this in my local store. There are 4 bottles. He bought one. I texted another guy. It turns out I texted the wrong freaking guy, and because he also was looking for it. And then when Connor dropped it off at the cigar shop, which is where we met and where I'm an employee at, he left it there for me. I wasn't able to meet up with him. He left it. I came later that night and get it. And a buddy of mine, Kyle, was there. And he's like, oh, I want that. So I was able to text Connor. Connor was able to get it for him. And so payment was made. Connor has the bottle, and we'll be giving it to Kyle when he comes back into town in a couple of weeks. But that night I also poured it for Kyle. Poured it for some friends of ours. And I'm shooting this on October 22nd. I'm going to be hanging out with my brother tomorrow for his 30th birthday. I'm bringing this bottle with me because I want to give him a taste of it. My brother likes Lagavulin. My brother likes peated Scotch as well. So, very light in color. But, however, it is... Of the 6 bottles of Lagavulin that I have, so I've got the 16 here, the 15-year-old Distiller's Edition, the Nick Offerman 11 Guinness. Those are all in a dark bottle, so that's going to be deceiving. This is the 9-year, which is actually even dark. This is the Game of Thrones 9-year. That's darker than the 12. I have the 8 over here. before what's in. And that's also in, you could tell, I can tell from looking at it that this one is very clear, but it's also in the dark bottle. So. Man, that peat is just fantastic. I have not drunk a lot of peated scotch this summer. I mentioned in a couple videos before that I wasn't going to. At that time, I wasn't really interested in the mood for peated scotch. However, I've drank it a couple of times because I cracked into this bottle. But again, love my peated scotch. So it's got the typical, the brininess, the saltiness is there. That really nice, interesting peat note is there. Again, if you don't like peat, you're not going to like this. If you've never ventured into peat, you're in for a treat, but tread lightly. I went full-fledged into when I was bourbon, and then one day I bought a bottle of, it's over there, I'm not going to pull it out, Monkey Shoulder, which is an unpeated Speyside blended malt, and I bought a bottle of Lafroig 10, and so Lafroig 10 is a very peated smoky whiskey, and it is a very good smoky whiskey. So my experience into peated scotch was just boom, you're in it. Loved it right away, and so. But for you might want to take a little carefully. There are some slightly peated whiskeys out there. You can ask, and I'll give you some recommendations. But if you just don't like peat, if you've tried, no harm, no foul. This is subjective. Drink what you like to drink. I have to be a little careful with my channel because I'm not going to get a lot of views on a scotch. Most of my friends are bourbon people. And so I have to take that in consideration. I would love to do just an entire series on... I have to be careful with how sporadically I do a scotch video. I have to make it like maybe once a month or every other month. I had to be sporadic with it. But scotch is my favorite. Peated scotch, Islay scotch is my favorite. This is another one. Ooh, now that. To be completely honest with you, this is going to be one of the higher proof. I'm just trying to think. The Octomore is pretty high at 62. That's my highest proof. Ardbeg Ugdal, which is this bottle here, comes in at 54. Because of the laws associated with Scotch, they typically use used barrels. It's a colder environment, so the heat of, say, a middle state like Kentucky, or even a lower state, southern state like Texas, doesn't get the amount of heat, so the amount of distribution in and out of the barrels is different. So it's not going to age the same way. So oftentimes you have to age it longer. So oftentimes you'll see 12 or 10 as a starting point, with some exceptions. And whereas, in my opinion, 10 to 12 is kind of the starting point for great aged scotch. And in bourbon, it's 6 to 8, my opinion. Even because of that, you're not going to see too much color. Now, they can reuse a barrel 5, 6, 7 times. It's not uncommon to see 3, 4, 5 fills of a scotch, and they don't advertise that, but we all know that they do that because they can, and why not? Briny, there's an interesting citrusy, lemony note to it. I think it gives notes on this actually. Yeah, so deceptive. I'm just going to read this. Deceptive with its inviting golden hue. At first taste, this rare beast growls gently, teasing with lemon, salty sweetness, and roasted tea. Intense blackened wood stalks the palate before a long, rich, and drying finish. It does have a dry finish. roaring with chili pepper and great waves of smoke. I'm not getting chili pepper. Me and my friends, when we read this, we're not getting chili pepper on it. The smoke, definitely. Man, this Lagavulin's interesting because they put nutrition facts on here, so it's just empty calories is really what whiskey is. It's so good. Very tasty, but there's differences. So this was a little more fruity, a little more citrusy. This is Lagavulin. Ardbeg is going to be meaty, smoky, meaty. And then you've got, in my opinion, Berclotti comes in a little bit smoky floral. And then you got Lefroy, which comes in kind of smoky, fruity. But all are going to be really intense, smoky, peated flavors. Man, I love this stuff. I'm very thankful to have this in my collection. I was hunting for it all year. And this is what happens if you stretch your network and you're all hunting for each other. Like our Venmo accounts, me and my buddy Connor, if you audited our Venmo accounts, we're just constantly going back and forth with, and obviously we can't say this for whiskey. So like when I did this, I put a lion and then tears. So lion's tears. That's what I did when I paid him for this bottle. But that's going to do it for Lagavulin 12, the special release from 2021, Cask Strength. This is Big Nate's Whiskey Lounge. Be sure to like, comment, and subscribe. Check me out on Facebook under Nate Whitell. I have 2 accounts, but the channel one is my logo. And then I'm also on Instagram under Big Nate's Whiskey. So go check me out. Give me a follow. Let's build a relationship, and I'll talk to you guys later. Cheers.